Bessie Smith was an American blues singer, widely renowned during the jazz age of the 1920s and 30s. During this time, when jazz music gained worldwide popularity, Bessie was nicknamed the Empress of the Blues. During her generation, she was likely the most popular female blues singer in the world. Tragically, on the morning of September 26, 1937, at the age of 43, the life of Bessie Smith would end. In the early morning hours, Bessie Smith and her boyfriend Richard Morgan were traveling south from Memphis, Tennessee to Clarksdale, Mississippi on Highway 61. About 15 to 20 miles north of Clarksdale, an accident occurred that severely injured Bessie Smith. Regardless of how the wreck happened, the results were the same. Morgan was mostly uninjured, while Bessie Smith was losing a lot of blood, and her right arm was mostly severed at the elbow. It wasn't long before Morgan would see another car coming their way. He waved it down, and surprisingly, it contained a physician by the name of Dr. Hugh Smith. Him and his friend, Henry Broughton, were on their way to an early morning fishing trip. Smith and Broughton would get out to help, and the three would move Bessie Smith to a much safer spot off the road. As the doctor began to check on Bessie Smith, his friend Henry Broughton decides to go call for an ambulance from a nearby house. In a later interview, the doctor would describe Bessie Smith's injuries as severe, and that she had crushing injuries to her entire right side. She was also having trouble breathing, and after a bit she started to go in shock. The doctor felt at that time it would be better to transport her to the hospital in his car instead of waiting for the ambulance. The men began to remove the fishing gear from the car, when suddenly another car appeared out of nowhere and suddenly slammed into Dr. Hugh Smith's car. No one was seriously hurt in this accident, but it kept them from taking Bessie Smith to a nearby hospital, which she desperately needed. Eventually, 2 ambulances showed up, one which was from the hospital Broughton called, then another one which was called by the truck driver whom Morgan hit. After he arrived in Clarksdale, the first ambulance transported Bessie Smith to the G.T. Thomas Hospital for African Americans. Her partner, Richard Morgan, accompanied her in the ambulance. Upon arrival at the hospital, a doctor amputated her right arm. They did everything they could, but sadly, Bessie Smith never regained consciousness. She passed away at 11:30 a.m. at the hospital. She was 43 years old. The G.T. Thomas Hospital for African Americans opened in 1914 and then closed in 1940. In 1944, Z.L. Hill started to rent the building, which she converted into a hotel. Eventually, she bought the building, and it's remained in her family ever since. Over the years, many prominent blues musicians have stayed at the Riverside Hotel. That list includes Robert Nighthawk, Sonny Boy Williamson, Ike Turner, John Lee Hooker, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Sam Cooke, Jesse May Hiphill, and many others. If you get the chance to go to Clarksdale and want to visit some historic places of the blues, then the Riverside Hotel is a place that you need to stop by and visit. Thank you for watching. If you can, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, Still Livin' the Blues. And also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Take care.